Have you ever wondered why some small nations consistently produce exceptional leaders? Welcome to Lead North, where we bring you the sharpest leadership thinking from around the world, filtered through the lens of clarity, purpose, and performance. I'm Eric, and if you're new here, every single week I give you a practical leadership insight you can use that same week. Let's get into it. There is a quiet corner of the world that seems to have found a special formula. This region is the Nordic countries. They are often ranked among the happiest and most prosperous places on Earth. But there is another, less discussed achievement. These nations are also a powerhouse for producing a unique and highly effective style of leadership. This style challenges many traditional ideas about what it means to be in charge. It is a model that seems to thrive in our complex modern world, delivering stability and innovation in equal measure. This leadership model is not based on charismatic, all-powerful figures. It does not rely on command and control structures that dominate many corporate cultures. Instead, it is built on a foundation of trust, humility, and a deep-seated belief in the collective. Nordic leaders often seem less like bosses and more like facilitators. They guide their teams with a steady hand, fostering an environment where everyone feels valued and empowered to contribute. This approach has led to remarkable success across various industries: technology, design, sustainable energy, global logistics, making it a compelling puzzle to solve. The question is, what exactly is this Nordic leadership? Is it something unique to their culture, or are there universal lessons we can learn? In this analysis, we will explore this very question. We will break down the core components of the Nordic model. We will look at the data. We will look at the real-world examples that demonstrate its power. The goal is to understand not just what these leaders do, but why their methods work so well. This journey is for anyone who believes there is a better way to lead. We will investigate the practical, actionable strategies that you can apply, no matter where you are in the world. Is it possible to build a culture of trust and collaboration within a different societal context? We believe the answer is yes. The principles are universal, even if their application needs to be adapted to your own environment. The first and most fundamental principle of the Nordic leadership model is a deep commitment to equality. This is not just a vague ideal, it is a structural reality in the workplace. Nordic organizations are famous for their flat hierarchies. The distance between the CEO and an entry-level employee is remarkably small in status and in communication. You rarely see overt displays of power. Lavish executive offices are often non-existent. Private elevators are often non-existent. Reserved parking spots are often non-existent. Leaders are accessible. They eat in the same canteen. This approachability demystifies leadership. A Nordic manager is less likely to issue direct orders. They present problems to the team and facilitate discussion to find the best solution. They delegate significant responsibility and trust employees to decide within their expertise. The flatter structure reduces fear. When employees don't fear retribution, they offer innovative ideas, point out potential risks, and challenge the status quo. The second core principle is an unwavering belief in trust and transparency. In the Nordic model, trust is the default starting position. Leaders extend trust to their employees from day one, assuming they are competent, responsible, and have the best interests of the organization at heart. This trust is supported by a culture of radical transparency. Information is not hoarded by senior management as a source of power. Key metrics, financial performance, strategic challenges, and even potential setbacks are communicated to all employees. The logic is simple. If you want people to make smart decisions, they need access to the same information that leaders have. Leaders are expected to be honest and direct, even when the news is bad. This honesty builds credibility and reinforces the foundation of trust. This combination of trust and transparency directly promotes collaboration. When team members trust each other, they are more willing to be vulnerable, share unfinished work, and ask for help. The third pillar of Nordic leadership is a powerful focus on long-term thinking. This contrasts sharply with a short-term, quarterly results-driven mindset. Nordic leaders look beyond the immediate horizon. They prioritize sustainable growth over quick profits. This perspective is deeply ingrained in societal values. Planning for future generations is a cultural norm. It's not just financial sustainability, it includes environmental responsibility and social responsibility. They invest in green technologies, build ethical supply chains, and invest in employee well-being. Long-term thinking changes resource allocation. Leaders invest in research and in development, even when payoffs are years away. They prioritize employee training and development, seeing the workforce as a long-term asset, not a short-term cost. Playing the long game builds organizations that are profitable, purposeful, resilient, and built to last through global cycles. The fourth principle is the powerful influence of a strong social safety net and a sense of collective responsibility. Universal health care, subsidized education, generous unemployment benefits, parental leave benefits. This security fundamentally alters the relationship between employees and employers. This structural safety net allows for greater risk-taking at both the individual and organizational levels. Employees feel more empowered to challenge their managers, to suggest bold, unconventional ideas, knowing that a single failure will not lead to personal ruin. This sense of security is coupled with a strong cultural emphasis on collective responsibility. The Nordic mindset is often described as "we before me." A leader sees their primary duty as ensuring the team has what it needs to thrive. They take responsibility for failures, but are quick to distribute credit for successes. When we talk about the Nordic region, we are referring to 5 distinct countries: Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Iceland. Each nation has unique history, language, culture, yet they share deep-rooted common values. Hierarchies are flatter. Information is shared openly. Decisions are made through consensus, creating ownership. That creates powerful psychological safety. Employees are unafraid to speak up, to challenge ideas, or to admit mistakes. The foundations of Nordic leadership are laid much earlier, within the walls of the education system. The educational philosophy emphasizes teamwork, critical thinking, and problem-solving over rote memorization and individual competition. Unlike hierarchical systems, the Nordic classroom positions the teacher as a facilitator. Students are encouraged to ask questions, challenge assumptions. This breaks down traditional power distance between student and teacher. It normalizes the idea that good ideas can come from anyone. When these students enter the workforce, they are primed to collaborate, share credit, and lift others up to achieve ambitious goals. The system of collective bargaining is another powerful institution shaping Nordic leadership. This system, known as the tripartite model, labor, business, and the state come to the table and find a compromise that serves the broader interests of society. Leaders learn that sustainable solutions are found through collaboration and mutual respect. They are conditioned to see their employees not as adversaries, but as social partners. The process of collective bargaining teaches leaders the art of active listening and empathy. This creates a culture where decisions are expected to be based on facts, not on whims or power plays. Nordic leaders are accustomed to justifying their strategies with clear data. The Nordic preference for flat hierarchies has roots that stretch back centuries, arguably to the Viking Age. The leader or chieftain was often a first among equals, whose authority depended on his ability to persuade others and build consensus. In the modern boardroom, this legacy manifests as a preference for consensus. A Nordic CEO is highly unlikely to make a major strategic decision without extensive consultation. A leader who acts in an arrogant or dictatorial manner will quickly lose the respect and cooperation of their team. To be effective, a leader must adopt a style based on humility, listening, and persuasion. In the Nordic model, leadership is not a right of rank. It is a trust that is continuously earned through action. Let us move from principles to practice. Our first case study is a major Norwegian energy company, operating with a deeply embedded philosophy of delegated decision-making. Critical operational decisions are not made by executives in an office tower, but by the engineers, geologists, and technicians at the source of the action. A manager's role is therefore not to provide answers, but to ensure their teams have the right information, resources, and a clear strategic framework. A concrete practice is the use of clear decision mandates. Teams are given explicit authority to make decisions up to a certain level, without seeking higher approval. This clarity eliminates bottlenecks. A team on a remote site can respond to an unexpected challenge in real time, without waiting for a lengthy approval chain. Start small. Identify one recurring decision. Formally delegate the authority. Provide them with a clear budget, guiding principles, and the key metrics for success. Then step back. Our second case study takes us to a fast-growing Swedish tech firm. Built its entire culture around the principle of radical transparency. Every employee has access to a real-time dashboard displaying key business metrics, monthly recurring revenue, customer churn rates, product development timelines. When a junior developer can see how a delay in their project directly impacts quarterly revenue targets, they gain a deeper understanding of their role in the bigger picture. One powerful practice is the open meeting policy. Minutes and key decisions are published for all to see, demystifying decisions and building trust. You can start implementing this. First, make your team's KPIs visible. Second, publish your next meeting's agenda, and consider inviting an observer from another department. Our third case study is a world-renowned Danish design and manufacturing company. The secret to their sustained creative excellence lies in a deeply ingrained culture of feedback. Feedback is not a dreaded annual performance review. It is constant, informal, and multidirectional. It is seen as a gift, a tool for mutual improvement. Feedback focuses on the work, not the person. How might we solve the stability issue? Instead of, your design is unstable, leaders model the behavior relentlessly. They ask for feedback on their own performance, showing vulnerability and commitment to growth. That makes it safe for others. To build this culture, start with yourself. At your next meeting, ask, what is one thing I did well in this meeting? What is one thing I could do better next time? Underpinning all these practices is a concept that is crucial: the creation of an environment where it is safe to fail. Nordic leaders excel at creating psychological safety, to take calculated risks, to voice dissenting opinions, and to admit mistakes without fear of humiliation or punishment. When a new software feature is released with a bug, the manager's first question is not whose fault is this, but what can we learn from this? This transforms a failure from an individual's mistake into a valuable organizational asset, a piece of knowledge that makes the entire system stronger. You can foster this. The next time a team member informs you of a mistake, consciously manage your reaction. Thank them for bringing it to your attention early. Frame the conversation around learning, not blame. We have journeyed through the core principles, cultural roots, and practical applications of the Nordic leadership model. The remarkable success of this approach is a powerful combination of three interconnected elements: a default to trust, a relentless focus on competence, and societal systems that support human security. The model produces leaders who are humble facilitators rather than heroic commanders. They see their role as creating the conditions for others to succeed. They build flat structures, practice radical transparency, and embrace safe failure because continuous learning is the only sustainable competitive advantage. In essence, the Nordic model is a system that systematically reduces fear and replaces it with psychological safety. When fear is removed, what remains is the creative, collaborative, and problem-solving potential of its people. Understanding the Nordic model is one thing, applying it is another. It begins with a conscious choice to lead differently. The potential rewards: a more engaged team, greater innovation, and more sustainable results. First, delegate one decision. Second, make one piece of information more transparent. Third, actively solicit feedback. Fourth, change your response to a mistake. Fifth, shift the ratio of your communication. These are not revolutionary acts, but they are the foundational building blocks of a new leadership style. This is a calm and confident call to action. Do not try to implement everything at once. Choose one of these 5 steps and practice it for a month. Measure the results in the quality of your team's conversations and the energy in the room. The Nordic model is not a magic formula, but a practical and proven path to building more resilient, innovative, and ultimately more human organizations. See for yourself how this quiet leadership style can produce powerful results. No matter where in the world you lead, I want to know what you liked. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this gave you one idea you can use this week, hit subscribe. Every week, new leadership insight, no fluff, no filler. See you next time.